So we are going to play with a few dies today. Actually, I do want to show you something really quick. Well, I can turn the camera for that. I'll turn the camera. I'm going to go ahead and flip over. Hello, Heather. Okay, so today we're going to talk about two things right off the bat. First thing I want to talk about is the incredible deal of the day. Has everybody seen that? If I forget, I want to remember to bring that up again in case anybody misses that, because I would hate to see anybody miss out on this incredible deal. This is a super good bargain. You know how I love a bargain, right? Well, this set, I've got a couple of the pieces here too. This is the lace border set, and I use this all the time. This is such a really pretty set. And you've got 10 pieces because you've got the background piece, and then you've got this really intricate, pretty lacy die that goes on the top. You can kind of get, you can kind of get a better idea of the lace on the graphic on the back. But this die set is 50% off just for today, which makes it like $12.50. Definitely something you don't want to miss out on. If you don't have one of these, definitely pick one up today. And also, I mean, be thinking we're getting into Christmas time, so that would be a really nice gift for a really good deal. So we're going to actually incorporate this into our design today. But I'm going to talk about, well, let's keep going. Well, since we're talking about it anyway, let's just kind of look at it for a minute. I only cut out a couple of the designs because, like I said, there's 5 different ones. But we have, this isn't the whole one because I was going to use just a partial.
Keep an eye on your placement, Shan.
Mm-hmm. I will do that. Thanks, Darren.
You don't have a big area.
I can see that, yeah. Okay, so this is how it lines up. And you can see how pretty it is against this glitter stock paper. You can also use it, we're going to use it today. Oh, here's another piece of glitter stock. This is just the opposite. Using it on the glitter stock. Do I have it going the right way? Yeah, I do. Just going from the wrong direction. So this is the glitter stock on black paper rather than the black on the glitter stock. And then what we're going to do today is we're going to use, and you can obviously use any colors you want. You can ink up your one or the other of these and mess around with it that way. I mean, seriously, the possibilities are endless. But we're going to use it with the Elegant Essentials Gilded, which is one of my very favorite Brutus Monroe products. I love this paper. And then we're going to use the black on that. So we'll just set that aside for a minute. And then the other thing that we're going to use today, we've got a few things actually, but one of the stars of the show, I should say, is the Pumpkin Pals set, which is absolutely adorable. How cute is this? You could do all kinds of fun things, make little treat bags for Halloween. But one of the things I love the most about this set is that, yes, it's super cute, and there's these fun little faces that are great for making something for Halloween or something more kid-friendly. I mean, I'm a big kid. I would love it for myself. But anyway, what we're going to use it for today is a little bit more sophisticated, and I love that it has that range because the faces and everything are separate. So we are going to just use the pumpkin dies, and we are going to use those. I will show you. I did all the die cutting ahead of time because last time I felt like it kind of slowed me down a little bit, and I like kind of having them ready to go. So I'm going to show you what the dies are like, okay? So you've got a background piece that will cut your solid piece, and then you've got your layering piece that will cut the outline, and then it will cut out, obviously, the little negative pieces that you can use for paper piercing. You could use paper piecing, I should say. You could line it up here, and then you would be able to see where you want to put everything. That would be kind of pretty to do. You could even do like a mix where you have, like this would be a pretty mix using all 3. We're not doing that today, but I do think it's really pretty. what we are going to do today, by the way, when you do that, if you don't use all the pieces, save them. I just tuck mine right into my envelope. I'm just going to put mine right inside of my really convenient packaging here. If you want to, you can put them in a little baggie. I think I've got one right here. That was convenient. You could stick it in something like this, and then especially if you've got little pieces, like some of the pieces in this set are really teeny tiny. So
the arms in the air make her think of riding a roller coaster.
The arms in the air. I've got to look at this now. Oh my gosh, yes. It does look like riding a roller coaster. That's adorable. Now I want to have a pumpkin riding a roller coaster. Okay, so I'm just gonna, you know, rather than make you wait, let's just see if I can get them shoved in there. Yeah, I think I can do it fast. Okay, so what we are going to use are this piece and this piece. And like I said, you could use all of those other ones to paper piece or whatever, and I may use those later. That's why I save them. And then we've got this little teeny tiny little stem, which to be honest with you, I am terrible about losing things. So I am just going to put it right back in my envelope along with my little baggie of goodies so that all of those are safe. Okay, and then actually I may as well just take these out too. Put those all back in there too. I love this packaging. It is perfect. It just keeps everything so neat and tidy, and really I haven't had any trouble with things coming out. So I leave the sticker on there. It re-sticks for me just fine. So we're going to use those, and then I will show you one last thing. Well, I'll show you that after. Okay, so we're going to play with some gold leaf today. Remember last week I showed you, I had it pulled out. I was maybe going to use it, and then I just thought, I had enough going on. I just decided it'd be more fun to highlight it on a different project. So I'm going to use it on today's project. So it comes, this is Forever in Time. These are available on the Brutus Monroe site. They are not Brutus Monroe brand, but they are available on the Brutus Monroe site. Metallic foil leaf flakes, comes in silver, comes in gold. We're going to be using the gold today. This would be really pretty for, I'm thinking I want to use this in December because I think that would be really pretty. And there are lots of things you can do with these. I'm just using them one way today, but you could use them to, I've actually used these even on a gel print, and it worked really cool when you use the brayer to kind of burnish it in. But several things you can do with these. So now we're going to take our little pumpkins, and this project is probably going to come together fairly quickly. I say that now. We'll see if it really does, but you know, putting that out there. So I'm actually going to use a little bit of Pixie Spray. This stuff is fun to use. I mean, it's great for stencils. When you're stenciling, this is like the most amazing thing ever. If you haven't ever used it before, you need to try it because it's a game changer for sure. So you can spray a little bit of this on your stencil, and you kind of let it dry for a little second, so it's not super wet. And then you stick it to your project, and it just holds your stencil down nice and tight. So we will use I'm going to get my ugly bucket out. That's what I always refer to this as. And I've got my nice Brutus Monroe.
It looks messy.
It looks messy. The gold foil.
I think your spray trunk.
Well, my ugly bucket definitely is messy because that's what I spray into. But the gold leafing can be, but I'll show you my trick for what we're doing today. It's not too bad at all. So I'm just going to back up just a little bit and spray a little bit. I'm mostly concentrating on the bottom half of this pumpkin. And I don't want too much up spray on my camera, so I'm kind of cautious. Sorry about my big hand in your way. Now let's go ahead and do the white one. And you don't really need a ton. So I'm just going to spray it mostly on the bottom again. And I think there's plenty on there. We'll let that kind of get tacky on that.
Rose says hello.
Who did?
Robin.
Hi, Robin. Okay.
Sorry she's late.
Oh, Robin, we are casual around here. We're glad that you make it whenever you make it. Okay, so now I've got my sticky side up, of course. And I am just leaving this in this bag. I might move it around a little bit. So you can see it comes in really big flakes or little tiny ones. You can kind of just break it up. It does stick to everything. But if you don't want really big pieces, you can break them up. So we want a little bit smaller than what was in there. And then I'm just going to stick my pumpkin right in the bag and kind of push that on. And then just keep going until you have as much of the gold leaf on there as you want. I think we almost have it. I feel like I need a couple more bigger pieces. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I am just going to kind of rub that in. And I'm just going to use my finger for that. You don't want to rub so hard that the shine comes off, but just so it's sticking really good.
Kelly says you make that look so easy. Thank you.
Oh, you know what? It really is not bad. Trust me. If I'm doing it, it's probably not too hard. I like anything that can be done fairly easily. Okay, so now I'm going to take the white one, and I may as well just use it to clean up our mess, right? So let's first of all clean up the mess that we have going on here. And then we're just going to do the same thing. I'm just going to move it around a little bit so I've got a few more pieces up towards the top. And it looks like and you'll get it some, it's bound to be on your table somewhere after. There's a nice big chunk. We need that piece, I think. And I'm just going to push that in there.
Joan says hi.
Hi, Joan. Glad you joined us today.
Sunny windy greetings from the Sun City, West Arizona.
Ah, nice.
Been windy here too.
Yeah, okay, so I have to tell you guys something kind of funny. So we have this tree that's just sad in our front yard. It's like they planted the tree and then didn't think about it ever again. So it's barely like, it looks like it looks like they planted it and then went, they just expected it to do whatever on its own. So it's pretty well a dead tree. But it's little and it's kind of just fun for Halloween. It won't be there probably next Halloween. But for this year, I don't have time to do anything about it. So I decided to just go with it. And we made some little, I just got some styrofoam balls and, you know, where people just grab we got some handkerchiefs and we made little ghosts to hang from the tree. And we woke up this morning and there were originally a dozen hanging from the tree. And this morning, I think there were maybe 4 left on the tree and the rest of them were scattered on our yard and our neighbor's yard because it was really windy last night. So I secured them a little better today. I went out and made sure that they were going to stay, but it kind of cracked me up. Okay. You can still keep going on trying to clean it up if you want, but I think in the interest of time, we're just going to let that be. Okay? So we've got this just kind of fun pattern going on for our pumpkins. And then I cut out the top layer with that beautiful Gilded Elegant Essentials paper. And we are just going to lay those along the top. I just love the way that looks. I think that's just so pretty. This piece is bugging me just a little because it's just so big right there in the middle. Maybe we need a little bit more. It's just weird. What was that?
Michelle said the ghost had a major party last night.
Michelle, I think the ghost did have a party last night. It was crazy. I think that's a little less the focal point now. Okay, so we're just going to use a little bit of, I've got some Fairly Arts glue somewhere. I grabbed it. There it is. Okay. And we are just going to layer this right on top.
Joan said her neighbor had a pack rat steal her decorations off the tree.
Oh my goodness, that is hilarious. What kind of decorations? It must have been something that looked good.
It had to be pack rat steal shiny things.
Oh, shiny things. Well, I understand the draw to the shiny. Okay. So let's get that first one on. Now, one thing you can do is when you're die cutting these, if you die cut them with the adhesive sheets, then you'll already have the adhesive on your die cut. But I didn't do that, so we're going to have to go with what is for right now. And I think that will work just fine. All right, look how pretty that is. Isn't that a pretty pumpkin? And so easy. And now, these would be pretty. You could do a Thanksgiving invitation. You could do, I always like to make little place cards.
Luisana says hi.
Hi, Luisana.
Marlene says hi.
Who was the last one you said?
Marlene.
Hi, Marlene. Sorry, sometimes I can't hear Darren, and he's had this cold that took his voice, and I am telling you, it has been months, and he still has a crackly, kind of old man voice.
Gary said good morning from Australia.
Well, hello from Australia. Thank you for joining us. We are working on making an elegant. What? Who did?
Peg.
Hi, Peg. Okay, I am going to see if I've got that lined up. I have to pick it up because I've got it against that black. I can't see.
Sonia says hi.
Hi, Sonia. Thank you for joining.
Luisana says she loves your lives.
Luisana, you are so sweet. I love your lives too. I'm not as funny as you are, though. You're much funnier than I am.
Michelle Luisana says pretty.
Yeah, I love these. Aren't those fun? And this is from the set that's so cute and kind of whimsical. And from this set, we're getting this completely different look that's got this more elegant, sophisticated look. So we're just going to quickly glue our... Okay, I'm going to just reiterate this set of dies, just because I know we've had a few people join us after the fact. So I want to make sure that everybody is aware that these dies, they're called lace borders. These are on sale for 1 day right now on the Brutus Monroe site. They are 50% off, which makes them about $12.50. So they are a steal of a deal. So take advantage of that. Darren will post a link in the comments if he hasn't already, which would shock me because he's always right on top of that. And I'm going to try to glue this without making a mess. So these lace ones would be a good one to use the adhesive sheets on. You could avoid gluing all these little spots. The one tricky thing about the Elegant Essentials paper is if you have to adjust, you know how you glue it, you put it down and then you kind of have to slide it around a little bit. It does kind of mark it up a little bit. You can always wipe it off after with like the felt. It's I'm trying to remember the name of the cloth, but there's a cloth you can use, or sometimes I even just use my microfiber cloth. But the felt one, the dry cloth, I think it's called, that one is actually better for that.
Says hello.
Thressa, hello. Okay. We didn't have to move it too much. I moved it a little bit, but I think we'll be okay. And I'm just going to let that dry for a second.
Joan asked what brand of glue you're using.
Joan, this is Barely Art's glue. Barely Art, no plural. Barely Art glue. It's amazing stuff. I know that Brutus Monroe is, I believe they're planning to carry that soon. It does come with the tiny tip. It even comes complete with the pin. It's amazing stuff. I'm telling you, I am a fan. I have been converted. Okay, so now the next thing we're going to do, I'm just going to set all of this aside for a second and move my Misty into the picture because we have one more thing we need to create here for our card.
She loves the pumpkins.
Aren't those pretty? I like them too. That's one of my favorite sets. Okay, so I am just going to use this. This stamp that I'm going to use is called Plaid Tidings. It's super cute. It's one of my favorites. And it works for so many occasions. And I just, because I'm going to use this whole panel, I went ahead and I just used a little bit of tape runner on the back. And then I actually stuck it to my finger a few times and stuck it to my clothes a little bit so it wouldn't be super duper sticky when I go to take it off. But I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to lift up. But I still wanted to get, like I said, the complete piece of paper. So that seemed like the best bet to me. I am sure that you probably have other methods that work just as well, if not better for you. If you do, feel free to share them in the comments. So now I'm just using some Raven ink. The paper that I'm using right now is just the Perfect Blend. I use that a lot. So that's what I usually pick up because I like to color. So that's mostly what I have. I love the Alabaster. The Alabaster is a little bit heavier weight. But because I do so much coloring, I just buy the Perfect Blend all the time. Now, if you need a really heavy cardstock, if you're going to be doing a lot of medium on there, or you just want something nice and sturdy, then Not Your Mama's cardstock is amazing. It is hard to keep in stock because it is so popular. It is amazing stuff. I'll move that up a little bit. So now I'm just trying to make sure I get all of my pattern on there. And I can tell you right now, I'm going to need to do it more than once. I always do. See, I need to push down a little bit heavier in the middle. Plus, we just want a nice, solid, dark image here. I love this stamp. I just think it's so cute. I'm a sucker for plaid. I have a few, we just moved. If you haven't watched one of my lives before, you may not know. We just moved into a house and so we've kind of been doing a little decorating, and I did little touches of buffalo plaid in my dining area. Just little parts of the accessories like my table runner and stuff like that. And I'm loving it. Okay, let's see if we can get a nice solid image here.
Louisana asked you moved to Texas.
I did, Louisana. I moved to Texas. We bought a house here. We actually...
Sandra says hi.
Hi, Sandra. We have our first house guest coming just for a visit, not staying for a visit, but like coming over for dinner on Saturday. Benji is the most social of all of us. He just makes friends wherever we go. And he got to know a couple of the girls in the neighborhood. And so when I went to just kind of check the situation out, I met their mom and dad, and we just hit it off. So we're kind of excited to just do a little socializing this weekend. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I think that will do because we are going to have our pumpkins on the card as well. So they will probably cover that middle spot that I keep obsessing over. Okay. Isn't that cute? So I've already cut a few mats, but there's one other thing. I'm trying to decide if I want to do it now or if I want to do it after I have everything on there. I think I'm going to do it now. So one thing we're going to add is just a little bit. This is another one of my favorite Brutus Monroe products. This is the Gilded Aqua Pigment. Now it comes with a different top. Let me grab one that has the right top. It comes with a top that has like a dripper on it. Oh, I have that one. It has an eye dripper, which is great. When you're doing watercoloring or anything like that, then you're going to want to use this. But I like to use it also as a spray sometimes. And so I like to keep mine this way. I just buy the little spray nozzles separate. So we'll get the ugly bucket back in here. This is a good place to start. If you don't have any of the aqua pigments, you definitely need this one. Because it just...
says hi.
Who did?
Jesse.
Hi, Jesse. So we are just going to flick a little bit of this. You could spray it, but I actually think I'm going to add a little glue dot to close the card so I don't get a lot of flicks on the inside of the card. I want to keep it to the outside of the card. Oh, it's going to stick right to that because I have all of that Pixie Spray on there. See what I did? Isn't that lovely? So I'll use that for something else. Heaven knows it'll get used. So we'll just take this and turn it over. And let's grab another card base.
Lisana said she needs an ugly bucket.
Oh, I love these. I just grabbed those. This is just a dish pan. You can get them so cheap. It works out good. Okay, so this is one of our pre-cut card bases, and these are just so convenient. I'm just gonna unstick it a little bit so I can get it back off really easy. You saw I didn't have to like worry about cutting a new card base because I had one handy, and they are sold on the site. You can get them in packs of, I think, is it 5 or 10? I can't honestly remember the exact way that they come, but they come in several options, so definitely worth a look. Okay, I just need to wipe my hands off. Hang on one sec. Grab that Gilded Aqua Pigment right around the wettest part of the bottle. So I have gold fingers now. Okay, so now I'm just going to take this end of it and just splatter it a little bit. It's just kind of you have to think about it ahead of time, but it's more of an afterthought. Does that make sense? You have to think of it ahead if you don't want it all over the whole front of your project. But it's a nice finisher. That one might not even show because that one's going to have the matte. Even if it did, that blob doesn't bother me. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry a little bit. And while that's drying, we'll put our mats together. So we've got our stamped image. Just want to make sure that's not going to get on anything. I'm actually just going to spray a little bit of the Squeaky Clean. This one is blue slush, but these Squeaky Clean comes in many different fragrances, and it is amazing for cleaning your stamps and cleaning your hands when you need to in a hurry. Okay, so I'm just going to take some of our Easy Tear tape, which is our double-sided tape, comes in a roll. And it lasts forever, I tell you. I've had this roll for a long time. And I still have lots left on it. Okay. And I'm just going to go ahead and get that matted on my black paper. Our Raven cardstock. All right. So I'm going to move off camera. Actually, I could do it right here. I'm just trying to make sure that I have it kind of evenly spaced as much as possible. I'm eyeballing it, but...
Michelle asked, how did the Aqua Pigment spray? I have some empty Squeaky Clean bottles. I don't know if you're ordering.
You know, I don't know why it wouldn't work. I would use a Squeaky Clean bottle for it. Michelle? I know those Squeaky Clean bottles, like my water bottle is a Squeaky Clean bottle. They're just great. They have a nice fine mist. That's the difference that you may find. And these are fine, but I think this one might be finer. More fine, I guess, would be the proper English for that. So let's go ahead and mount our Raven cardstock panel now.
Sana said, that's it. She's going to our store to get a bucket. She's going to call it Ugly Bucket. You're a genius.
Oh my gosh, I love you, Louisana. Sorry, I'm talking fast and it's not working. I love it. Yeah. I have a couple of them and it works great. And when it gets really, really just covered in stuff, I don't feel bad if I check it. I don't think I've had to so far, but yeah, I mean, we're in a buck, right? Okay. Most products that I use in it dry well enough, and then I use the Pixie Spray. It probably seals them all off. Okay. I'm going to see if that's... I'm going to take off my little glue dot, which came off pretty easily. And let's just hit this with the heat tool for a second, just so that we can move on. I don't want to heat it too much because it does make it curl a little bit if you're not careful. And we're okay because I still have more we can do while we're waiting for that. Okay, so I'm going to revisit something that I showed a couple of weeks ago. It's one of my favorite little hacks that I found. And that is, okay, so if you receive the inspiration box, then you are familiar with conversation clippings. Let me grab a full sheet. This is how they come. They come with a full sheet of different sentiments that you can cut them into strips. You can use the whole thing if you want to as a background. But I like to use them for the single sentiments. And I have a really hard time cutting in a straight line. It is sad but true. For as many as I cut, you would think I would be better at it, but I found a little helper for me is I like to just use, this is the fence builder set. This is a sample, so mine's not in fancy packaging. It works just fine for me, but if you're wondering what the heck is going on with that, that's what that is. And I actually, most of the time I use this little guy. There's a few different ones you can choose from. And I just line it up with whatever sentiment I want to use. And you can see it's spaced just right to cut it out. I've already cut one out. I cut out this one, same one. Autumn Days Are Here Again. And then you can just cut off the little tip if you don't want that. And then I also found that the fence post, the main post, I don't know what the difference is between the little slats and the post, but this is the bigger one. This one works great for, what, Darren?
Jesse said she learns something from you every time. Your talent is awesome.
Oh, Jesse, you're so sweet. Thank you so much. It works great if you want to have a little mat. And I think this is kind of a fun little tag shape. So I'm just going to keep this all how it is. Looks like I could trim that side a little bit. I don't know if I'm going to bother because I'm going to actually tie a little bow on the end. So I don't think it's really going to matter too much. I don't think you'll really be able to tell that there's anything else going on there. So let's just grab a little, I think I'll use, I'm going to use my tape runner just because it has little tiny pieces I can use. And so it'll be quick, I think. I should probably have my glasses on, right? Story of my life. I say that way more times a day than I should. I should just keep them closer. Okay. So we've got our little sentiment all lined up on there. And then I've just got a little piece of twine. I'm just going to use a little piece of twine on the end. Tie a little bow around the little notch. Just looks like that's what it's meant for, you know? I just cut that a little smaller so I'm not dealing with a whole big chunk of twine. And then you can either tie it around it or you could even just tie a bow and stick it on the top, depending on what your preference is. Ooh, I totally missed. Let's see if we can do it that way. There we go. Then I'll probably tie a pretty big bow and then just shrink it down as I go. But I have fat fingers, so it's easier to pull it through the loop if I make it fairly big.
said, Shannon, this is where you need 3 hands.
I don't know. I think 3 hands would just get in my way. I think I'm just naturally a little bit awkward, and that's all right. I've learned to embrace it and find ways around it. All right, so I think that will work just fine. So we'll cut that down a little bit so we don't have really long ties. I usually cut the ends of my bows so that they're not much longer than the loops. I don't know if anybody else has a measurement that they use, but that's kind of what I use for my guide. Okay, so I'm going to move our conversation clippings out of the way. And I do need to trim this down because our card, this is made so you can use it on bigger cards if you want, but we only need enough for the front of our card. So I kind of need to measure out about where I want to end. Sometimes, depending on the project that you're doing, I would just end it and cut around here, but I wouldn't probably do that if I was, I wouldn't have already attached the top layer to the base because I would want to make sure that I could cut around it, if that makes sense. But where this one's already attached, I just want to, I think I'm going to cheat. I think I'm just going to stick it on there and then center it on there and then cut it on the sides. And hope that it doesn't really hang off too much as far as any excess. Let's see how we do. I am live, so, you know, expect surprises. Usually when I do something live, not everything works out just right. But that keeps them exciting, right? Keeps them exciting for me anyway. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and attach the mat first.
Candy's back. The Wi-Fi wasn't cooperating.
Oh, hi, Candy. I'm glad you're here. Glad your Wi-Fi is cooperating now. All right. So, I think we'll put it on. I like to see where it's...
Jesse asked how we're liking our new house.
Who asked?
Jesse.
Jesse, we love it. We love having a house. It's nice to put down some roots a little bit. We are definitely enjoying it.
Candy said she was driving, that's why she lost you.
Oh, that makes sense, Candy. All right, I think this is about right. Let's line it up on our mat, and we'll be able to tell even better. I'm still pretty much eyeballing it, but I think that will work. And now we're just going to trim off the sides. Oh, I did soak through a little bit, but I don't think that'll show once it dries. I think I'll use these bigger scissors for this. So I'm just going to line that up against the edge. I think we were able to do that without leaving an edge. Let's see if we can get lucky a second time.
Candy said she likes watching Crafty when it's live. It's real Crafty.
It's true, Candy. It's nice to know that everybody struggles and everybody has clumsy moments, and heaven knows I do. Okay, so we've pretty much got all of our pieces ready to go. So let's add, I'm going to use some of our Easy Tab foam dots to adhere our little pumpkins. The trick with these is you want to go a little bit slow so you don't tear the tab off. I think we'll put that about right there.
Candy said I always forget about the plaid stamp. Adding it to my pile to go with this weekend.
I know, isn't it a cute one? It's one of my favorites. It's true. It's one of those just classics. I hope it stays in the Brutus Monroe repertoire for a long time. I love it. Let's see, so we're going that way. This is the side we need that on. And we'll put a little bit of the Easy Tear tape on the other side because that way it should kind of fall at the same height. Does that make sense? If I put one over here, it would kind of go on an angle. If I have the tape here and the foam on the side, it'll be more like even across. Okay, so now let's add our little stems because I'm terrified I'm going to lose them if I don't.
Candy asked the stamps are cutouts or stamps, the pumpkins.
The pumpkins are from the Pumpkin Pals die set, Candy. I'm just going to tuck that underneath a little bit. And then we just need to add our sentiment. Do we need? We'll put foam on one side again, and we will put tape on the other. I think that will work good for this. Because we've got 3 layers of cardstock going on. The pumpkins are?
Yeah.
Oh, you won't be sorry. They're super cute. Okay. And let's just add a little piece of tape.
Carrie said your card's gorgeous.
Carrie said that?
Yes.
Thank you, Carrie. Okay, so now we just need to add our little sentiment. And look, we've got this elegant Thanksgiving card or fall card, whatever you want to use it for. You can make tags with this. Like I said, it would be pretty to do something like this for place cards for your Thanksgiving table. But it was really simple, really fun.
Donna asked, didn't I design the pumpkins?
Donna, yes, Darren did design those pumpkins. That might explain part of why I love them so much, right?
Everybody says it's stunning, it's cute, gorgeous.
Oh, thank you so much.
Love it.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now I'm going to remind you one more time. The lace that I used, that border on the bottom, that's from the lace border set. If you don't own that, now is the time to pick it up because it is 50% off just for today, which makes it $12.50. Super, super good deal. Seriously, you don't want to miss out on this. You'll be sad if you don't already have this and you don't buy it. I'm telling you, it's one of those things that you'll go back and go, dang it, I should have just done it. I do that all the time. You can ask Darren. I do that all the time. But on this, just speaking from somebody who uses all of this stuff all the time, I'm telling you, you're going to need that in your collection. All right, you guys, I think that's everything for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and I am excited to see you again next week where I will have something completely different to do. Have a good rest of your week. Bye.